All right. This is Mariusz Konieczny. I have a special guest. We're going to talk about some YouTube grifters today. So I am talking with, can you introduce yourself? Echoes from above?
Yes, sir. Echoes from above. I have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is pretty much geared towards teaching people what I believe is the correct way to invest and also exposing grifters and scammers.
Okay. So how long have you been doing YouTube?
About 7 months.
And what gave you this, like, did you like right away wanted to expose the grifters, or like how did it come about?
No, I started off just talking about like stocks that I liked. That's what I started off doing. And then eventually it kind of morphed into, branching off into other things like talking about the overall market, which I used to do early in my career. I didn't used to do that. And then also just exposing grifters because it just got to a point where I was like, enough is enough.
So what was like the uh, tipping point where you, because obviously it makes you angry, like you feel
Yep.
bad for people, like you start, like, walk me through this thought process of what just made you like want to do it.
Sure. So all throughout 2021, I watched all these people, and I just kind of never really said anything, but I just kind of watched them. So I watched Keenan Gray, Stock Mo, Meet Kevin, Jeremy. Man, there were so many of these guys. Keenan Grace, Dead Inside. There's a ton of these guys everywhere, and I always knew what they were doing. Like I had some issues, but it didn't directly click in my head necessarily that that is what was going on. I just saw things that I kind of interpreted as fishy. But because I was a fan of some of these channels, I just kind of ignored it. And I didn't take any of their stock picks, but I just kind of watched them for entertainment. And I told my family, don't listen to these guys. Watch them, but don't join their discords or anything like that. And then it was when Meet Kevin sold his stocks in January when we had that correction, is when a light bulb just lit up in my head. And then all of a sudden this fire just came up under me, and I've been exposing grifters ever since.
Yeah, so you've been talking, that's how it started. You've been talking about Meet Kevin, right? You
Yep.
made a lot of videos about him.
Yep.
Did he ever like contact you? Did you ever have a conversation with him?
In the comments, that's about it. He's commented under several of my videos now. Obviously, not very happy, getting upset. And then I had a live stream with Strongman Personal Finance, who I know you had on your channel, so shout out to him. And Meet Kevin did comment on that too, and he basically said that Strongman is a fair critic and I'm not. And that's basically all the interaction I've had with him.
Mm. You see, I made one video about Meet Kevin. I
Mm-hmm.
analyzed 5 of his stocks. I mean, he like literally picked them out at the top, and like
Yep.
one of them was like some kind of electric toy he was riding around, and I mean the company doesn't even make gross profit on what they make. But the way I presented is like that was after he like said that he was going to quit YouTube, and I was trying to be positive in a way that look man, like you have 3 million of followers. Like if you learned how to fundamentally invest, um you could like really help people.
Yep.
Like you could change people's lives for the better.
Yep.
But you'd have to learn, you'd have to like be open to it. um I just don't think, I don't think he changed at all. um I mean, he stopped talking about stocks, which is good, but I don't think there's much change in here. You know?
Yeah, no, he just moved his grift. And, that's not the first time either that he said he was gonna like stop getting on YouTube and stuff. He's done this like 3 other times already. His entire channel is just all antics. He has all these antics, and unfortunately, a lot of what he's done has hurt a lot of investors, and I've been calling it out consistently.
Okay, so then you also talk about Jeremy. You're a bit hard on him. What's your views there?
Yeah, sure. Jeremy and me, Kevin. Let me tell you what they do. They take advantage of people who are looking for hope. Right? That's exactly what they do.
Did
So
you
you
did you
gotta.
did you just get this from my video?
What?
That
No.
the word hope. The reason why I'm saying that, because I made a video about index funds versus individual stocks, right?
Mhm.
And I said that, like index funds is responsible. That's the way to do it. Most people should do it, but
Mhm.
most people don't because they're looking for hope, and
Oh,
that's why
yep, exactly.
that's why they are attracted to that. So I just find it like we're on the same wavelength. So
Oh yeah,
continue with that hope.
yeah. I gotta watch that video. I did watch some of your videos. I don't think I watched that one though, but I did watch a few of your videos, but not. Yeah, I definitely watched your strongman one. But anyway, yeah, they take advantage. And yeah, we're on the same wavelength because I think it's really obvious, right? You've got a lot of people who are looking for hope, right? Like a lot of people want to get rich. Everybody wants to be rich, but they don't know how to get there. So they're looking for hope, but they also want it easy. So the hope mixed with them getting it easy without putting in any work is watching somebody on YouTube and just paying $20 or $100 or whatever it is to get their buy and sell alerts and get rich. And they get tricked by these grifters who say, look how much money I have. Look at the cars I drive. I got 2 Teslas in my garage. I got this. I got all this property. And they get tricked and they fall for the grift. And unfortunately, people, I try to teach more realistic investing. And I feel like there's not enough people on YouTube who are telling you the truth. Like there actually is a way to get rich, and it's called increasing your income. You want to get rich fast, like in the next 5 years, 2 years, next year, you're gonna have to figure out a way to significantly increase your income. But unfortunately, a lot of these stock investors take advantage of people looking for hope, and they tell them you could get rich quick in a spot, in a place where it's completely geared towards getting rich in the long term, not getting rich quick. And so they lie to these people and they say, well, if you get in the stock market and follow my buy and sell alerts, I'm such a genius that you're going to get rich quick. And that's just not the truth. And that's the issue that I have. I try to be more realistic rather than.
How did you learn yourself?
Mostly self-taught, just honestly learning from getting my butt kicked. I mean, when I started in 2017 as a college student, I literally lost all my money. I got my butt kicked every day. I kept panic selling and everything you're not supposed to do, I did. I kept buying like penny stocks. I didn't have any like portfolio balance. I was just buying any and everything. Didn't know what a 10K or 10Q was. Didn't know what an earnings call was. None of that. So the way that I learned was honestly just experience. And I think that's the best way people can learn, because the other key that these YouTubers don't tell people is everybody is different. Some people are good at trading. Some people are good at long-term investing. Some people can handle volatility. Some people can't. So you have to figure out what kind of investor you are. And then once you figure that out, you're able to figure out what works for you. And then you could probably be successful doing this.
Now, I listened to one of your video and you referred to Warren Buffett. Did you learn anything from him? Did you read any books on value investing or Warren Buffett, anything like that?
Yeah, I read one of his books. Forgot what it's called. Snowball, something like that.
Snowball.
Yeah, I read that one. And then I read his mentor, Benjamin Graham, The Intelligent Investor. I read that one. And then there were a few other books that I read. But yeah, everything was just self-taught. Honestly, a lot of what framed my perspective was just literally studying him and some of the other greats, like just watching all of their interviews, reading their shareholder letters, and just really trying to learn what their philosophy is and exactly how Warren Buffett got so rich. And I try to somewhat teach that to other people. Obviously, the way he got rich is not really the way people think, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Going back to a little bit these YouTubers, you see the channels, like the channels that have a lot of subscribers, the channels that are very popular, they got popular. Like you had to be talking about Cathie Wood stocks. You had to be talking about Tesla. You had to be, and I know you like Tesla. You had to be talking about Tesla. You had to be talking about, these growth stocks, NFTs, crypto. That's what got you to the top. Like if you were talking intelligently, Google's, Apple's, value investing, like you weren't going to get pushed.
Yeah, they were mostly talking about speculation and risk. And that's what got all the gamblers and all the Robinhood people to come to their channel. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And honestly, I think they took advantage. They came at the right time, and this all just happened to come together very well for the very few who took advantage. And they came out of nowhere. Most of these people, I did some research. I got some videos coming out too on the history of Stock Mo, Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin started talking about stocks in the bull market, literally 2020, 2021. Stock Mo, same thing. Chris Sain, same thing. You've seen all these people come out of nowhere at the height of the bull market and just kind of take advantage and ride it all the way to the end where we are now. And it's just absolutely disgusting, because if they were smart, they would have at least told people to take some profits or do this and that. But they were preaching long-term holding for trash companies instead of telling them, hey guys, we're in a bubble, these companies are trash, you should trade them, which is actually something that I did in 2021. And it is what it is.
Chris Sain.
Yep.
I was a little confused. I was watching Strongman Financial, what is it?
Strongman Personal Finance.
Yeah, Strongman Personal Finance. He was doing a stream, and somebody asked him a question about Chris Sain, whether he is the Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, and Chris said, yeah, I give him that. And I'm like, what? Did you watch this?
No, I never saw that.
No, I was just like, do I have the wrong one? Because then I looked at his channel and I'm like, there's no way there's anything close to Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger there.
Yeah,
So,
not at all.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, I didn't see that, but yeah, that's interesting.
And then I also saw that, Strongman did a video on him. So I'm like, okay, I must be confused here. But what kind of stuff is Chris saying? What kind of stuff was he pushing or talking about?
Literally, Chris, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Chris Sain and Keenan Grace are very similar. They are a little bit different than like a Meet Kevin or a Jeremy, who traditionally find their own unique, weird stocks and pump them. Chris Sain and Keenan Grace find whatever the top stock is, whatever the most popular stock on Reddit or Twitter is, they find that and they pump it at the top, literally. So it could be Shiba Inu, which is a crypto Dogecoin. It could be Mullen stock. It could be Nano Dimension, BNGO, any of those YouTube stocks. It could be that. And they would literally talk about that. So the unfortunate part about those YouTubers is instead of focusing on 20 core stocks or great companies that everybody should own, they basically talked about every stock in the stock market, because whatever was popular for that week is what they talked about on their channel. And I know what it was for. It was a great way to grow your channel, and that's what it was for. So that way,
I mean, that you see, if you're talking YouTube, that's what they teach you, right? Find things that are trending and talk about the things that are trending, right?
Yep.
Which is okay growing your channel, but like when you buy popular things, you're going to get slaughtered because you don't want to buy it. You want to buy unpopular things, not popular things.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I actually agree with that. The stuff that everybody wants to stay away from is actually probably what you should be buying. And the stuff that everybody wants is probably what you should be selling, honestly.
Yeah. You see, I mean, like my whole philosophy of investing is microcap stocks only because they're unpopular and I have very little competition. And then I can go and eliminate 80 to 90% of trash and just focus on the 10% that I think is good. And that, that's my thing. But like when you go after popular things, whatever it is, like, it's not going to turn out well for you. You're definitely not going to get a good deal. I mean, think about it. If you're selling a house or if you're buying a house, do you want to buy a house when everybody else is watching at the same house? Or do you want to buy it when like there's just you and somebody else looking at it,
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, if that works for you and you've been able to successfully do it, I mean, I 100% support that. I think that method of finding the micro caps that nobody wants and you've done your due diligence and you're like, hey, this is a good company, we can make money. I'd rather do that than pick all the hype YouTube stocks. And also, I don't know if you're trading or holding long term, but like, are you trading?
No, years, like 5 years at least, most of them.
Okay. Are these companies that you think could like become revolutionary or like change their industry or something like that? Because for me, I think penny stocks are extremely risky, and I definitely stay away from them. But I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there who do really well investing in those and make it.
Yeah.
work.
So for example, the definition of a penny stock is anything below $5, right? And the penny stock thing has a negative connotation to it for good reasons, because a lot of them are just trash. But like in the world of microcap investing, which is, I call it, companies that have market capitalizations of less than 100 million. There's very little competition there because institutions are too big. They can't hold them. Retail investors are chasing Bitcoin and crypto and everything else. So, and meme stocks. So, there's no competition from the retail. So for example, I went through like all the stocks on Canadian Stock Exchange. There's like 700 of them. So one by one, right? And like I said, 80 to 90% of them are trash because they're either marijuana stocks or gold and silver. Like I always make fun of it that these investors on these exchanges are getting high on pot and they're looking for gold, right? That's what they want. But out of those companies, so maybe out of the 700, like 70 are real businesses that have like real customers, that they have real revenues, maybe like recurring revenues or like high profit margin revenues, and they're not trading for high prices, like in relation to maybe net income. If they're profitable or if they're close to profitability, then you have to look at like, revenues. So they might be trading at 1 times or 2 times revenues, because people on those exchanges, they don't want real companies. Like they want shit, right? So they're attracted to trash. And then so you have so little competition there that if you choose the right companies, they might, grow big enough that eventually they might graduate to NASDAQ, like uplist. But there's an opportunity because there's little competition, but you still have to do the work, because, like I said, 80 to 90% of them are terrible, and you want to stay away from them. But there's an opportunity there. So that's what I focus on.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you know what it sounds like? It sounds to me like you're kind of more like a venture capitalist. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, because that's kind of what they do. They find companies that they think are going to be like huge in the future, and then they buy them very, very early. So it sounds like you find companies very, very early, and you're looking for that next big win. And I mean, if you're doing the research behind it, I mean, I really don't see an issue behind that.
Have you ever heard Warren Buffett answer the question at Berkshire Hathaway? That kind of what gave me the start. Somebody asked him, if you were finishing college and you had $10,000 to your name, what would you do? And he said, I would start an A and finish on the Z. So I would go at one company at a time, but I would focus on the more small companies and in obscure places.
Oh, it's funny. He did say that. I remember that.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what gave me this obscure places, because the probability of mispricing is the greatest. But he didn't say that like just because you go to obscure places, you're going to make money. Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of penny stocks trash that, are horrible and you should never touch. It's just a probability of mispricing, which is much harder to come by on the big exchange. Like I would love to make a lot of money on Google and Microsoft, but the problem is that everybody knows about these companies. You have all these smart people that are crunching the numbers, all these hedge funds, everybody from the entire world is watching New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Like you have so many smart people. The probability of mispricing, like huge mispricing, is almost non-existent. The only time you get sort of mispricing is like 2008, 2009 financial crisis, when everybody is so freaked out. You have mispricing, but other than that, you're most of the time you're buying them at fair value, and you're just riding with the growth. So it's tough. So then if you want to make the alpha or whatever, you have to do crazy things what Kathy Wood is doing or what Jeremy is doing, because they I mean, but then you get wrecked. Like they are getting wrecked now.
What you're saying. I see what you're saying. I think you seem to actually really know what you're doing, and I think that's dope. I hope your channel grows, because I think we need more investors like you. I don't think everybody's going to be like me and want to kind of invest in more safety. I think there are some people who are like, hey, I'm looking for a 10x, I'm looking for a 15x, and I think you're kind of teaching the safer, smarter way to do it, and saying, hey, well, let's figure out how we differentiate between the trash microcaps, which are 90%, and the few 10% that are actually good companies. So I actually think that's a good idea. You've actually got me very interested. I was going to say, what stocks have you been looking at lately? Because I'd actually like to take a look at them myself.
Well, I cover 3 stocks on my channel: Voxter, Oracle, which is a copper play, and Globex. But if you want to get like familiarize yourself with the space, go to my website, microcapexplosions.com, and I have a free book, MicroCap Investor. Like you can download, you don't have to put any email or anything like that. You can just download it. It gives you like, just kind of like the world of microcap investing, because most people, 99.9% of investors don't even know this area exists. Like they're just not aware. They know about NASDAQ, they know about this, but they don't know that there's another area that there is, possibility for money if you do it right. If you fundamentally look at these companies, because people are like asking me, well, what do you look in these companies? And I'm like, look, I want companies that have revenues that are maybe recurring. recurring revenues, so that every January we don't start from zero. I want companies that have some kind of moats, like a switching cost or network effect, all the stuff that Warren Buffett talks about. I want good quality revenues, because I did in the past go the route that lost me a lot of money. From 2012 to 2016, I thought I was going to kill myself because I was in the gold and silver miners. Do not ever invest in gold and silver miners. And if you have that virus in your brain, go to my YouTube channel and watch my playlist, Why I Hate Mining Stocks. You will get your brain vaccinated against mining stocks. They are the worst companies on the planet. So I went through that shit. I went through that period, and actually, I actually reached out to meet Kevin after he blew up, because I kind of like wanted actually to tell him, like, look, I went through this shit. Like, I know what it feels like to lose money for people. I know what it feels like, people pointing at you. I've been through this, and these guys have never been through this. Like Jeremy, for example, started in 2008, 2009. Everything was a fucking party. Like, oh yeah, we're making money. No matter what I buy, the stock goes up. Yeah. Now they're getting their ass destroyed. And it's not fun, because when you have 1 million subscribers, it's not fun when people are sending you hate mail and telling you where you live, and it's not fun. But you know what? You can take this as a learning opportunity. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, maybe I should pay attention to quality from now on. Maybe I should pay attention to businesses. Maybe I should pay attention to how much am I paying for these things and whether they're ever going to be profitable. Failure teaches you more than success. But I don't know if they will ever learn from this. I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think so, because, man, I think they have so many supporters. They've got like cults now to just, because I literally had one on my live stream. I live streamed like a few days ago, and I had one of the guys, and he had lost all his money on Tattooed Chef, but he was still all in on Jeremy and the stocks, and it's just really unfortunate. I think it's one of those things. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it's one of those things where it might take a while for people to really wake up. But I think once 3 to 5 years go by, which is the time horizon these YouTubers set to wait, and they realize they haven't made any money, I think that's when it really starts to get serious. But
you know how Jeremy talks about, I think he used this word, Tattoo Chef is dominating its space. Like, he used this word, it's dominating its space. So yesterday, I went to the grocery store. I went to look at, because I wanted to look at the shelf space for both the Honest Company and the Tattooed Chef, okay?
Yep.
And I'm going to make a video on Tattooed Chef coming within the next few days. Okay, so I went to the store.
Yep.
And I'm looking at the frozen food section. I can't find it, right? So then I go and I ask the employee, I'm like, hey, can you point me Tattooed Chef products? And he looked at me like, who the hell, what is Tattooed Chef? But then he found it, right? So he walks around, he found it, and he's like, oh, here, look, it's on the bottom, okay? And I opened it, and it was like 4 products on the bottom. And I'm thinking, dominating? Tattooed Chef is dominating? What is it dominating? The bottom shelf? Like, seriously. And if you look at their financials, their gross profit margin is 10%.
Yeah, it's really low. Yeah, I remember
that. like, look, you're selling, they're reselling the stuff in the store for like $6, okay? You know that the store has to buy it for $3 because they got to have 100% markup. That's how it works. They buy it wholesale from Tattooed Chef for $3. And it costs $2.70 for Tattooed Chef to make it. So you sell it for $3, you make it for $2.70, you make 30 cents. Does this sound like a good business to you?
Nope.
And then you have to pay for marketing and shelf space, distribution, marketing.
Which has been kicking their butt, by the way, financially.
Right. So you have a situation where it's like, yeah, Tattooed Chef is growing. I get it. It's growing. But like, look, at some point it has to be profitable, okay? And now, in order to make it profitable, you have to, like, I don't think it can be profitable with 10% gross profit margin. It's not possible. It's going to go to 0. And but even if, let's say, you have other companies, like, for example, Honest Company, like they had a good shelf space. Like,
people actually buy it. Yeah, you're right.
And my girlfriend even told me, like, I would buy this stuff from them because, I like the founder, I like her integrity, and it's honest and all that. I would buy it. So I'm like, okay. I looked there and I'm like, okay, the shelf looks nice and all that, but here's the problem. Procter & Gamble has gross profit margin of 51%.
Yep.
The Honest Company is 35%. So they need to be able to get higher margins. But nowadays with the inflation, they're going to get absolutely decimated on the production costs. Like they're just going to have to fork it out, or they're not going to get their product.
Consumers during these inflation environments are still going to stick with the popular brands.
Right. And then the stores, the Targets of the world, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, we'll pay the higher prices. They're going to get squeezed on the wholesale prices that they get from the stores, and then they're going to get squeezed on the production costs. So I don't see how they're going to be able to turn profitable. But then even if you are successful turning it to a profitable company, then you know what happens? You have to reduce your marketing, you have to reduce your SG&A, which means you're not going to be able to grow. And then how Wall Street likes very slow grow companies, right?
Yep.
So they're going to get decimated even more. Like, it's not a great picture. Like, I get the appeal for the Honest Company. I get the appeal. Like, okay, they can steal market share from Procter & Gamble. The product is repeat business and all that. I get the appeal, but I don't know if they can ever be profitable.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I still to this day just can't understand where he found these stocks. I just don't get it.
Yeah, Tattooed Chef is like, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, honestly, like, because you can just go to the store and you're like on the bottom. So think about this from the point of view. And I used an example of, like, I wrote 10 books, right? So this is my first book that I wrote. When I wrote my first book, I was like, this was in 2009. And I'm like, do I want to be in the bookstore or just be online? And if I wanted to be in the bookstore, I have to hire a distributor. Yep. And then let's say they put me in the bookstore. Do you think they're going to put me on the main shelf? No, I'm going to be like in the freaking corner, and they're going to have one book, and it's not going to show the front. It's going to show the spine. So nobody's going to buy it, right? And so in order for my book to be successful in the bookstore, you know what I have to do? I have to spend so much money on marketing to generate traffic, right? So it's just like, fuck it. I'll just sell it on Amazon. Who cares, But that's what Tattoo Chef is. They're on the bottom. Nobody sees it. And the only person that buys it is if they know about Tattoo Chef already. So in other words, that the benefit to the retail store is that Tattoo Chef has to bring them traffic. The store doesn't generate any traffic for Tattoo Chef. And if they're on the bottom shelf, they're not that important for the retail store. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get kicked out from the store. And my girlfriend always tells me, these brands, they're like revolving door. Like constantly new things. And so Tattoo Chef is just not important for the grocery stores.
No. And every grocery store that I go to, the section that has Tattoo Chef is always full. And everybody that I ask, have you heard of Tattoo Chef? They always say no. Nobody knows what that is. Tattoo Chef got popular because of Jeremy. I said this. If there's anything Jeremy deserves, it's some type of endorsement from Tattoo Chef. Because I'm telling you, nobody knew what that was until he said it.
It's actually the people that buy it are the investors. The back.
You're right, exactly. The people who watch his channel. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So tell me a little bit about Stock Mo. What is he all about?
Oh God. Yeah, it's so hard. I'll try to think who's the worst, and they're all so bad. Stock Mo is one of the worst. I'm gonna tell you why. Stock Mo was pumping a bunch of penny stocks early on in 2021 during the bubble, and he actually went back to his old videos where he pumped those penny stocks. And not only did he delete some of those videos, but he also went to some of those videos and turned the comments off. And Stockmo is this guy who was basically buying NEO at like $60. And he's similar to Jeremy, except he's got his own little unique stocks. So he's been buying NEO and whatever other else companies he got. I can't remember. It was like Workhorse, just all these bad companies. And he's just been buying the heck out of the dip. And my biggest issue with him is he never does any type of financial analysis or anything about a company. He just gets online and just talks about a company. And I told people, you don't want to follow a YouTuber that does that. There's got to be some type of deep analysis giving you the thesis on why you should buy the stock, or at least why I'm bullish. And it's just very dangerous. And yeah, he's bad. He's really bad.
Yeah. All right, cool. Any final thoughts that you might have for my listeners about, who not to follow or how to make better financial decisions?
Yes, I have plenty of final thoughts. First off, let me say thank you so much for having me on here. Definitely an honor. I will definitely subscribe and start watching your content. I'm definitely interested in your style of investing for sure. But what I want to say is, I know a lot of people got wrecked, but I would just say learn from your mistakes that you made in 2021. I think everybody made mistakes in 2021, even me. But I think the best thing you could do is just please stay away from these grifters and stay away from the people who give you prospects that are just too good to be true. Follow people who actually give you realistic, things that they've actually done, not people who just YOLO'd all their money in the Tesla and now all of a sudden think they're a genius, which unfortunately is what you saw.
Chicken genius.
Yeah, I like him, but I don't agree with everything he did. And yeah, he's one of those people for sure. He YOLO'd everything in the Tesla. And yeah, you're right. For sure. But yeah, those are my final thoughts. Just put in the work. Don't go on YouTube and just watch somebody and say, that's my due diligence. Like, no, go and actually put in the work yourself, take an hour, listen to an earnings call, learn how to value a stock, different things like that. Really learn this game and you can make a lot of money.